Hey everyone. So when Ronnie and I first said yes to planning Real Life Church, and as we got started on this, God kept showing us this vision. And it was Real Life Church in the middle and like all these floating other ministries around it. And I remember God kept speaking to my heart. We're going to plant, him and I together are going to plant Real Life by these almost floating different ministries. And I would talk to Ronnie and I would say, how am I going to do this? I don't understand what God is telling me. This isn't the plan that they say to do. I don't understand this. And I remember I would tell some of our team, this is the vision that God gave me. Real Life is in the middle and it's these other ministries coming off. There's other groups, and God's telling me this is how he's going to grow Real Life, but I'm not sure how this is going to happen. We'll skip ahead to the middle of this pandemic that we're in right now, 3 weeks in. And this week after Easter, I just began to press into God and say, God, we are going forward. God knew when he called us to plant Real Life, he knew that we were going to plant in the middle of this pandemic. That was part of God's plan for Real Life, was to plant while this pandemic was happening. Knowing that God knew that, knowing that he called Ronnie and I to plant during this time, that he must have had a plan. So we just pressed into God and we began to pray, God, how do we plant during this time? What do we do during this time? Ronnie and I's heart has never left this. We want to win people for Jesus. We want to introduce people to Jesus that have never had a relationship to him. We want to reach the de-churched, those that have walked away from God. Somehow, maybe they've gotten hurt. Maybe they've walked away because life just got busy and for a moment they lost God in the busyness. We wanted to be a place where anyone could belong. No matter what your background was, no matter what you're walking through, Real Life is a church that you can be a part of. That has never left us. So we begin to pray, God, we know this is what you've laid on our hearts. You have laid the lost on our hearts. You have laid the de-churched on our hearts. You have laid those that need a place to belong on our hearts. And God reminded me, do you remember that vision of Real Life that I gave you, where Real Life was in the middle and you had all these other arms? For such a time as this, Shannon, for such a time as this, you guys, since the pandemic, not only have we continued our weekly meetings, not only have we continued growing our launch team, but we've added different arms of ministry. Not only do we have a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon service now, but we have a men's group that meets on Monday nights that is growing. We have a youth group that meets on Wednesday nights through Zoom that is growing. We have Real Women that is growing. We have our prayer ministry that is growing. We have a compassion ministry that is the foundation of our church that is growing. So we have all these other little ministries that God said, this is the way you're growing Real Life. And for such a time as this, you guys, that is what we're seeing. We are so excited to see what God spoke to us in the early ages of this is how you're going to plant Real Life coming to fruition during this time. We would love for you to be a part of it. We would love for you to join us, be part of our Real Life team. No, we're not meeting in a building right now. No, we're not meeting in person, but Real Life is still active. We're still running after God and seeking what he has. And we would love to invite you to be part of this. If you would like to be part of our Sunday services, join us 4 p.m. right here on this page. You can log on for a live service. Following that, we're going to be jumping into some small groups. We want to see you guys discipled. If you want to be part of our Real Men Zoom links, we'll send those out to you. Contact us and let us know, and we will show you how you can be part of what God is doing for such a time as this through Real Life Church. Thank you guys. We love you. We love your support.